Welcome to Beacon of Speech. I'm Fred Hunt. That's Ted Coley. Holy cow, you're not Ted Coley at all. It's Joe Kaufman. Welcome back, Joe Kaufman. Welcome back to Beacon of Speech.
Hi.
Ted Coley is on this side. Welcome to Beacon of Speech, Ted Coley. You're always at Beacon of Speech, right?
Yeah, I'm always here.
What is Beacon of Speech? Beacon of Speech is, where's our script? Beacon of Speech is selling free speech to everyone. We would waive the copy of the First Amendment. Free speech is under constant assault in America today. The problem is coming from two places very hard to fight. From the left in the form of PC madness, from the right from corporations. You remember that from Joe? Do you remember that, Joe? Is that burned in your ears?
I didn't hear what you said. I wasn't paying attention.
We're putting away the script. The outline. I haven't seen either one of you guys since before the holidays. Did you guys have a good holiday?
It was okay.
Did you have a good holiday?
Yeah, it was all right.
I had a very good holiday because I work for a place that canceled school because it was too cold out, Joe.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
High temperatures at 10, negative wind chills, so I got last week off. Yay for me. Now, it was frigid cold for you guys.
Cold.
Did you guys have to work?
Well, yeah. When we were kids, remember, they would never call school off because it was too cold.
That's where I was going with this.
Making a bunch of pansies nowadays.
Do you think that school should cancel school when the wind chill is 10 below?
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
What episode is this?
75.
75.
Episode 75.
You still need your list to read off the beginning.
Yes, I still read the list off because my memory is shot.
So,
but go ahead.
I'm sorry. What was that now?
Do you think they should have canceled school this week?
No, I mean, I guess so. Because, you have those parents who don't care and just send their kids to school with a long sleeve T-shirt. Here you go, it's negative 10. Here, Johnny, you'll be fine. It's a long sleeve T-shirt.
If it was my district, I would not have canceled Tuesday and Wednesday. Monday was for New Year's. I would not have canceled Tuesday and Wednesday. But when the air temperature high was like 4 on Friday and the wind chill was like negative 26, I think it was.
Yeah.
I might have canceled that day, but I would not have canceled
my daughter, she didn't go back to Wednesday. They had school Wednesday, but then they canceled Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
Friday it was cold.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, but I would not have canceled the whole week. That's why I was like,
but you have to nowadays because, like I said, you have those parents who I don't know if they just don't care or if they just that's stupid.
Well, but that's the whole thing. In the old days, the superintendents used to say, screw it, you're all going to school, right? And unless the roads were bad, say you lived in Parma where they don't believe in plowing roads, right? Would you say that's fair?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That in Cleveland?
Cleveland, they don't believe in plowing roads. But what happens is now the superintendents are afraid of liability. What happens if little Johnny gets frostbite waiting for the bus and we didn't cancel school? Then they're going to sue the school district. So now it's not all about safety. It's about liability.
Oh, yeah. Plus the kids that don't have buses, they have to walk to school.
Oh, yeah. Like my kids would have to walk if we didn't drive them to school. Well, mom and dad should have to drive them, but you can't legislate parents driving their school.
Yeah.
So little Janie or Johnny walks, they freeze their hands, they turn around, and then they sue the school district, and then the school district they're screwed because they didn't cancel school.
Yeah.
So one part of me is you got to teach the kids to toughen up, but on the other end, I understand why superintendents are like, holy cow, we are opening up the school district to liability.
Oh, yeah. Because like I said, you have the parents who will just let their kids walk to school with like a long sleeve T-shirt on. Next thing you know, they're missing fingers because, they got frostbite. The parents are like, I'm too lazy to get out and drop my kids to school.
But the whole thing is, 50 years ago, superintendents did not worry about that.
Nope.
They did not care. They said, get your kid to school. If you couldn't get like all the buses all froze or whatever, they would cancel school if they couldn't get the bus from here to there. It was more of a logistical thing. Today, I'm convinced it's a liability thing. Do you guys think I'm right?
No, you're right.
No, you're absolutely right.
I love it when I'm right because it doesn't always happen.
Now, North Ridgeville does not have buses or just...
Oh, no. What happened is North Ridgeville, they built a brand new school complex, 3rd through 8th grade in the middle of the city. And then what they did is they built an access road to connect to the 2 roads on each side of the school. And then they said nobody gets bused within 1.5 miles. So because you put the school in the middle of the city, all the poor kids who live in the middle of town, they all have to walk. And then on the edges of North Ridgeville, where they're building the brand new houses, that's beyond a mile and a half. But again, you know, they could be like, well, we built a new school. It doesn't have anything to do with rich and poor.
Yeah.
But my kids, they're too close to the school. Last year they would have got the bus. This year they don't because they built the access road up to the new school.
So you live on the poor side of town then?
Yes.
That's what you're saying? You just said that the go.
Yeah, so because I always feel because I
I'm
always feel
joking.
bad. North Ridgeville is a beautiful city on the edges, all the way around the edges. There's
Oh,
all
where
these.
you live is nice.
Oh yeah, well
I was
it's
in your area before.
yeah, it's nice, but it's the
It's a lot
older.
better than Brook Park.
Let's put it this way: my house was built in 1969.
Yeah.
Okay. My daughter's friends all live on the edges of town, houses that were built in 2005.
Yeah.
So in comparison, you know, we're the poor folk. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's not, again, it's poor folk for North Ridgeville. It's not like Cleveland poor folk.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I gotcha.
Just like we were talking before we went on the air. A difference between being poor in the suburbs. And, you know, I watched a new Dave Chappelle special. Do you have Netflix?
Yeah.
Did you watch a new Dave Chappelle show?
No.
Dave
I know he had one out, but I just
Dave Chappelle comes on, and he's talking, and he said he hangs out with rappers, right?
Yeah.
And the rappers are like, I grew up in the bad part of New York. I grew up in the hood and the towers. I grew up in the towers of Chicago, and all my friends are dead or in jail. And Dave Chappelle's like, I never lied to him. I just sat there quietly. He goes, because I was one of the poorest kids in my suburb. And he goes, and I had a mom and dad. I saw them every day. Dad worked hard, and mom. And he goes, so I was the poorest kid in Sterling Heights. And so that's how I feel. I felt like, you know what? That's how it is now for my family. You know, my kids, they're not in bad shape, but
Yeah, that's how I think
they
we
could
all
be
are.
in better shape.
My daughter said that to me today.
Oh, no?
She said she wants to be at Christopher's house. Christopher is her friend,
Uh-huh.
and they live in Brio. And she's like, yeah, I want to be at Christopher's house, or I want to live there with him because he lives in a mansion. I mean, it's a nice house. It's
Yeah.
not a mansion, but it's a big house. He's like, he lives in a mansion. His house is so big and so nice. I'm like, gee, thanks.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Ted's house is a mansion. Look, he's got 3 floors. He's got all kinds of spots. There's a state-of-the-art TV right there, just off camera.
Enough room. I can move my kids in here. Leave them here, right, Ted?
That's
You
right.
don't mind a lot of kids running around.
Ted, you could
2
rent this
extra
place
bedrooms.
out. Yeah, you can rent out the whole basement.
Destroying your house. Fun
They-
times.
They could watch the TV from 1984.
There you go. I can
It
leave my,
works. Look, there's antennas on the top right there.
I
You
can, leave, I can leave my kids and my wife here. I can have room for all 4 of them.
Their
Huh?
entertainment center.
Okay, Joe, are you ready for me to poke the bear?
Yeah, shoot. What do we got?
Saturday was the parade. The
Oh,
Cleveland
yeah,
Browns.
It was.
The Cleveland Browns went 0-16. Joe predicted that when they were like 0-4, correct?
No, I think before the beginning of the year.
Was it the beginning of the year?
It was what? Prediction show. That was what? Summertime?
Yeah, it was like September 11th.
I think I was way off. I think I said like 7 and 9 or
I
something.
think I said 4-12. I wrote it down. I just got to find it. But so, number one, they had a parade. The high temperature during the parade was like 9 degrees, right? And what they did is because the Browns did not win a game, they did not have a parade route straight down East 9th like
No, it was
the
just around the
Cavs.
stadium.
It was a circle. So I have to do the visual. Pretend like we have graphics. It was a circle around the stadium for 0-16. Get it? Okay, so they just made a circle around the block, and they had stuff that said, lovable losers or whatever, and it had the graveyard of quarterbacks and all that other
So
BS.
she got a whole bunch of eggs and threw them at the stadium while they were going around it.
There was one protester who held a big sign that said, and he stood over by the Science Center. It says, "I love my Browns." Right? It's like, yeah, that guy's an idiot too.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you agree that we should have had a parade?
Yeah, why not?
My father-in-law, right now, just us talking about it, he's driving over here to yell at us that there's no way they should have had a parade.
Why not?
It was an embarrassment to the city of Cleveland.
That's an embarrassment? Not the team who only won one game in 2 seasons? The parade was an embarrassment? Not the team, no.
He was so mad about the parade. And like I said, I haven't said one word or the other. Because I'm like, well, I understand why people are upset. And I also understand why, like Ogba. He tweeted out, he goes, I can't believe the fans are doing this. It's like, I can't believe your team went 0-16.
Yeah, I can't believe you couldn't win one game.
And I really think the best policy on that was just like Dave Chappelle. Just like when he's sitting with the rappers, and they're like, I grew up in the projects. And they just assume Dave Chappelle's sitting there. And they're like, Fred Hunt, what do you think about that parade? I'm just like, I'm like, well, that's why I had to ask you. Did you? But my other question is, were you tempted to go?
No, it's -4 degrees. You kidding me? I don't want to even go to work that cold. You think I'm going to go out there and celebrate
Ted,
that?
I already know you don't want to go.
No.
Even if that parade...
I didn't even watch one game this year, so why would I
Really?
even care? I don't even care.
I watch bits and pieces, but I didn't watch that many games.
Oh, okay, I watched a half a game. I was trying to watch a whole game, but I fell asleep at halftime.
Just one game?
Half a game, because I fell asleep at halftime.
Wow.
Yep, and the other Sunday, I think it was their last game. Was it last weekend or 2 weekends ago? I didn't even know they were on. I was at my mom's house, and I look over her neighbor's apartment. She had the door open, and she was watching the Browns game. I'm like, the Browns are still playing?
We still have a team?
I thought the season was over with.
Well, I don't mean to pick on Ted, okay, because I've been doing too much of that lately. But if the parade was the last week of May, and it was 75 degrees, and it was sunny, and they were shooting $20 bills off of the top of the dogmobile, or whatever they call it, I still don't think Ted would have went to the parade.
I don't think I would have went either.
Oh, not even to throw eggs at him or anything?
Maybe eggs at the stadium.
Although the $20 bills, that might entice me.
You can be bought to be like I said, I see both sides, and I'm just like, you know what? It's just sometimes you just want to get out of the house, but I'm like, I can't go to that parade.
No.
Like, part of me was like, I should go.
Anyways. Who has the time?
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing.
Who really cares?
Tony Rizzo went on the radio, and he said that guy who set up the parade, he did it as a pub grab. I'm like, there's much better ways to get pub grabs than do a 0-16 parade.
I didn't even think it was going to happen. That's when they finally found when it did happen. He's like, "Oh crap! How the hell do I organize this now?"
Yeah, and then
And I think that's why it was only a circle, because he had no idea what the hell he was doing.
And I agree.
You should have organized something like that and gotten some publicity for Beacon.
Yeah.
Oh, there, see,
we could have been in the parade.
And I'm going to tell you what would have happened. You guys want to know what happened? Let's say Beacon of Speech says, you know what, I'm going to be the Grandmaster, not Rover. Fred Hunt, Beacon of Speech. I am going to be the Grandmaster. So I show up, it's 9 degrees. My relatives are all making fun of me. Okay, I hold up the sign. What was my sign going to say for Beacon, for 0-16? Thanks for the try. Thanks for trying.
Thanks for the memories.
Thanks for the memories. Okay, I'm holding a sign.
Yeah.
Thanks for the memories. And
on Sundays, instead of listening to the Browns, listen to Beacon of Speech. You're entertained.
So I'm walking down the parade route. I would take 3 steps. I'd be, thanks for the memories. I'd be walking. I'm walking, right? And what would happen is my father-in-law, he would drive down there. He would see me with there. I don't care how old he is. He would run on the parade route. He would tackle me, and he'd start beating the shit out of me.
Really?
Yes, he'd be like, "That is it, Fred Hunt. I'd put up with all this crap." He goes, "You need a good smack."
Was he like I guess he's a diehard.
He
Browns
is a
fan.
diehard old school Browns fan.
But I mean, how much crap could he take? I mean, he really realizes they suck, right?
Yes, but
They've been sucking. It's not like they've been good and all of a sudden the team turns to crap.
And I don't
always suck.
One of these days I'm going to get him on here. We're going to get him on Beacon of Speech. But I think if he was here, he would say the parade is further embarrassing the city on top of 0-16.
Yeah. Right.
Well, that's why I'm like, I don't know how you can be more embarrassed than 0-16. You know what I mean? I think of the parade as a novelty, almost like, Dr. Demento. We're doing, hey, 0-16, right? And so I take it as like a joke.
Yeah.
But even if it's a bad joke, I understand why you're making
I
a
find
joke.
it funny.
But again, I'm not going down there, and I don't know who, I don't know
-4
anybody.
degree weather? No.
And again, you worked all week. I might be like, well, I'm stir crazy, which I wasn't, to go down to the parade. But you guys worked all week, right? You guys are in the 9-degree temperatures. You're like, screw that. I'm not going back out in the 9-degree
And I'm not
temperature.
wasting the one day a week that I have off to go down there for a 0-16 parade.
Yeah. And the whole thing is, they said 2,000 to 3,000 people showed up, which is a lot of people.
Really?
Yeah.
Did it make the news? Well, I'm sure they had it on the news.
Well, and
right?
that's the thing. It was on the news. I went on Cleveland.com. They were live streaming it. They were having trouble with their live stream, which is why I wanted to do a beacon of speech, is go to the live stream, right? And they were live streaming it on Facebook.
Yeah.
So Cleveland.com went on, their Facebook page, and they're like, "Here's the parade." And it's like, I didn't even watch it on Facebook because I'm like, oh man,
I forgot all about it. I mean, they were talking about it on the radio on Friday, and by Saturday, I totally forgot about it.
Well, because
I forgot about the end of Friday.
You had season tickets. That's why I had to ask you.
Oh, I had season tickets in like 7 years.
Yeah, but
8 years?
still, I never bought season tickets. Did you ever buy season tickets? We're old graybeards, right? I never had season tickets. You had season tickets. At one point, you believed in the Browns.
I did. And I had them for like four or 5 years. And then eventually I said, you know what? Screw this. I have better things to do with my time than watch crappy football. And that's when they actually won games.
Well, that's the thing. So they go 0-16, and Ted made a great analogy. He said that it turned into... What'd you say? What was your analogy? That the Browns in the draft?
Yeah, the Browns are like the new Vietnam. It's like people do whatever they can to avoid being drafted.
Yeah, they don't want to go. They don't want to go.
We're going to go in the Canadian League.
Yeah, we're going to go Canadian League. We're going to stay in school. All of a sudden they're all like, oh, well, you know what? We need more seasoning.
I'm going to skip on the millions of dollars I would make for being the first round draft pick and stay in college.
Yeah, which is sad. So it's a joke all the way around. So the parade doesn't bother me. What bothers me is the quarterback at USC saying, I would rather stay in college and go make millions of dollars.
Yep.
Because that is guaranteed $40 million with $70 million. What is it? Guaranteed $30 to $40 million right now. Right? And you're like, you know what, 30 or 40, I'm going to bet on myself and wait a year. But that's a big risk because you can get injured. Somebody can snap your MCL or ACL at any time.
Yep. And you'll be done.
You cannot not cash in that lottery ticket.
I don't blame them. I'd stay down here in college too.
I had to start with the parade because I had to give you the business. Okay? Now, you know how we were talking about what goes on at Beacon of Speech, nobody's watching?
Nobody's watching.
Yeah, there's hardly...
We get out there, people make people watch.
I know.
See, if you were in the parade, we would have more, followers.
Let me tell you about the perils of actually having people watch your...
I think you're a bad promotion.
Well,
we need a promotion team.
You know what? Thanks.
I think I should take over this.
I'm going to make you in charge of promotions. You know what you need to do? You need to say, you know what, Fred, I need a salary. I'm the big picture guy. And then subcontract somebody else out and not pay them.
My work for me?
You need an intern like Cosmo Kramer on Seinfeld. But once we have viewers or listeners, right? There was I'm going to keep scaring Ted. We're going to have a big warning by the end. Ted is afraid. He goes, once we get popular, what's going to happen to these old episodes when people go back and listen to what we said? We're going to piss a lot of people off. I said, well, no, we're just going to keep pissing people off. We're not going to dry up one day and all of a sudden get cautious.
Yeah.
I said, we're just a steady stream of pissing people off. But that seems to worry Ted. Okay? So I got some stories for Ted. In the Daily Mail, okay, there's a popular blogger, 18 years old, 20 years old, lived in Mexico. I don't know that this kid was gay, but he was very flamboyant. He wore rhinestones and, brightly colored clothes. Ted, we wear what? Blue, black, and gray when we do, this is what you get.
Very somber.
Yeah, very somber, like we're very loud at a funeral. But, so this kid in Mexico, oh yeah, you know what? Oh, Mexico! And he's very flamboyant, right?
Yeah.
Well, one day he's out in front of his house, and again, he's got 100,000, a million. It wasn't 100,000, a million followers on his blog.
What
And
does
he
do?
goes, well, I'm going to tell you what he did. He's talking whatever 20-year-olds talk about. And he goes, and you know what? I'm not afraid of the cartel in Mexico. You know what? The cartel can suck my dick.
Oh,
And excuse my French, right? But he said it on his webcast, right? How many days before the Mexican cartel killed him in his yard?
2 hours later.
1 week later, went up online, the cartel. The cartel's not following this kid, right? And they're like, all of a sudden they hear, what did this gay kid say? And so they played it back. Oh, yeah. Juan, find this kid's address and go kill him. Within a week, he was dead.
Just him or his whole entire family?
Well, him, I don't know if his whole entire family died.
He just kill everybody off in the house.
Well, but that's the whole thing. And so...
So where do they kill him? At his house? They shoot him to death?
Yeah, he came out of his house, la 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 la, boom, 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 ah! Right? And so he's dead, right? And I shouldn't be joking around about it, but...
Do they go over there and whip it out and stick it in his mouth? Like, there you go!
But that's the whole thing, is Ted, he's like, what happens when they go back in time? I'm not saying anything about the Mexican cartel, okay? The Mexican cartel, I'm sure they're all a bunch of good guys who go to church on Sundays, and they don't sell bad drugs. They only sell, like, marijuana, right?
I'm not saying nothing.
So this kid gets gunned down in his driveway, and again, the production value for us is literally MacBook Pro
how
camera.
stupid could you be?
Well, and that's the whole thing. I'm like researching the article, and I'm like, holy cow! Even if I would.
How did that kid think that was going to go over? I mean, he thinks he was like, okay, I'm just going to say this, and nothing's going to happen.
Well, I don't
no
know.
Big deal.
Yeah, and the thing is that even if he only had 8 followers, whatever we have, 8 or 10 followers, I would still be nervous to say
Wait,
that.
how? Well, you have 3 or 4.
I would still be nervous.
So how many followers does this dude have?
1 million followers.
And what did he do? Did he do something like this? Like he had his own podcast, or?
Yeah, what he did is he had a better setup. He had a camera, and the camera would follow him around. He'd be
And what made him get 1 million followers?
He would just talk about life in Mexico, just like American kids talk about life in America.
Why can't people catch on this thing? It has to be better than that, right?
Well, yeah, it's got to be better, because right now he's dead, and we're still alive.
We can't even ask him for tips now. Followers.
Oh, they give you a tip. Don't say nothing about the cartel.
Yeah, and I would never make broad strokes. We try to single out, and sort through things, but do you know of any organized crime in your city?
No.
You're not familiar with it, right? If there's organized crime in my city, I'm not familiar with it, right? But even I wouldn't be like, oh, well, you know what? I'm an untouchable. I have a blog. I have a video camera. Look how happy we are here.
I think everything here is freelance crime.
So are you nervous after I told you that story, Ted?
You told me that before.
Yeah, on the phone though.
Yeah.
But I did not tell you because I wanted to make sure I caught your reaction on camera.
Yeah, that is pretty.
So we want to be very clear at Beacon of Speech. This will be one of our downfalls. We love the Mexican cartel. Okay, we think that they are only selling minor amounts of pot to old people who have glaucoma.
Now you're going to have the DEA after.
Yeah, I got a whole nother set of problems.
Oh, yeah?
Our friends in Mexico, we love them. But how in the world do you think you're the... I know when you're a kid and
how do you think that's going to play out? Especially you live in Mexico.
Yeah.
How do you think that's going to play out? You think, hey, this is okay. Nothing's going to happen to me.
Yeah,
I can say whatever I want.
In Mexico, they kill journalists. I just read a story...
They kill whoever they want.
Yeah. I just read 2 weeks ago about a journalist. They're like, well, she wrote a bad story, so they found her tied up in the dumpster with her hands cut off. Well, yeah, because she wrote a bad story about the cartel. We love the Mexican cartel. That'll be our epitaph right there. We love the Mexican cartel. But you gotta know better than to say crap like that.
Especially when you live there.
Yeah.
You're in the backyard.
we are.
It's like in the backyard with a pit bull, an angry pit bull, and you let him off the leash. What do you think's gonna happen? I mean, that kid. I guess that kid deserves it. I mean,
and even if they sent a hitman out to get Beacon of Speech, that's a long effing way. You know what I mean?
I'm giving your address. You're the one who's talking. You're the one who's talking.
They got to go all the way from down there, all the way up to up here.
No, they probably have somebody in Cleveland.
Oh, you know what? I never even thought of that.
I mean,
I forgot about the Cleveland connection. They call cousin Juan, who emigrated up, and they're living on the near west side.
yeah.
We better watch out.
We're
We're not that far from the near west.
Working at,
Ted, we're not that far from the near west side.
Nope.
You ready for another one?
Yeah,
Oh, wait, there's one more. I gotta make sure.
Let's get off the Mexican cartel.
Oh, wait, there was another one I was supposed to scare
Hey,
Ted, and I can't find it.
That's funny because you heard the story about Conor McGregor.
No.
How it was on the radio. I forgot what radio was. Well, anyways, but
He's the UFC guy. Right?
yeah,
UFC guy.
I guess he was in a bar. Where is he from? Ireland?
Yes. Ireland or Northern Ireland?
Anyways, he was over there, I guess, and he was out drinking. And he started with somebody, and I guess he ended up getting a fight and beating the shit out of this dude. Well, I guess the guy was part of this Irish cartel gang or whatever, and I guess they're
The IRA? The Irish Liberal...
whatever. I don't know what it is. It was a cartel. They called it. It was the Irish cartel.
Okay.
And I guess they were a huge cartel gang there. And I guess they put $1 million out on his head. I'm like, now is that just a publicity stunt? Is that just something made up or?
That sounds real. Because Ireland, you'll mess around. That's like, again.
Well, I mean, he has so much money. He'd be like, okay, whatever. I'm going to hire 10 bodyguards that have my back. And I'm going to put out $8 million on you guys.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The kid on YouTube, again, he was just, hey. He did not hire any bodyguards after he said this. What's the Mexican cartel going to do? Oh, Jesus.
Show them what they're going to do. Yeah, but that was in the story, I think it was before the holidays that came out. And I was just wondering if that was true or that was just a big publicity stunt or that was just made up or... They were talking, I forgot what radio. I think it was WMS. They were talking about it. You never heard of that though, huh? You never heard that story?
No, I only heard that they want McGregor to fight. He can't get along with Dana White.
Well, he's not coming back. He has $400 million in the bank.
Right.
What the hell does he need to come back and fight for?
Right.
And he went to the not easiest sport, but a lot easier than UFC. You go from UFC to boxing. And I mean, okay, you're still getting punched in the face, but it's not as bad as, getting punched in the face without a glove in UFC.
Yeah, right.
And you made 10 times more money.
He wants to fight Pacquiao for $100 million. He does not want to go back and fight Joe Schmo in UFC for $750,000.
I don't think they'll even put that fight on because who would want to see that? I didn't want to see the Conor McGregor Mayweather fight. You know what was going to happen? I know what was going to happen.
Yeah, they wore him out.
I mean,
and then Mayweather, he threw fuel on the fire afterwards.
Because he just wanted to made it a bigger payday.
He said he wanted a bigger payday.
Mayweather probably called him at the before it started. Like, hey, we have this press conference. Just go on and talk as much crap as you want about me. He's like, let's hype this thing up. See how much money we can make. Come on. That was right. All planned.
Now I got lost on my outlook because I wanted to scare Ted some more, and I wrote down the link, and I can't remember what the story was.
Did I throw you out?
No, that's
throw
okay.
you off?
No, because here's other things I wanted to talk about, and you don't care about this, so we're gonna skip quickly over this. Joe, don't look, okay? What state in the United States led the nation in overdose deaths in 2017?
Sorry to me?
Yeah, Joe. What state?
Idaho?
Don't look at my thing.
I didn't see.
Who led the United States in
Idaho?
Opiate overdose deaths
Ohio.
in 2017? Ohio was second. West Virginia was first.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, how is that news? That's like common knowledge, isn't it? Idaho. Why'd you think it was Idaho? What the hell do you think they're doing up there? Oh, we were talking before we even came on about all the dead people in West Virginia and Ohio.
But Ohio was 2?
Yeah, Ohio was 2.
Wow.
What's next? What was first?
Oh, West Virginia first.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, what else is there to do in West Virginia? Shit, I would OD if I lived in West Virginia.
Yeah, so I was like, well, why is that news? That's common knowledge, right? And I guarantee you they didn't get those drugs from the cartel. They just got them from,
How do you know where they came from?
They came from CVS and all the other pharmacies that they stole the opioids from. CVS is going to sue us now. CVS is going to send a hitman to my house. We only legally dispense opioids. And then there was another thing about, I don't remember, I wrote down that Pat Buchanan famously declared America is in the midst of the culture wars. And we're still in the middle of the culture wars, but I don't remember what the point of my outline
When did
was.
he say that?
Well, he said that in 1992, but he came back out over Christmas and said the culture wars haven't ended. And I'm like, and I wanted to say something about that, and I forgot because I did this over Christmas. And then
You had all that time off.
yeah, I know I had all that time. You think I'd be more organized?
I know.
This is why we haven't taken off, because you're not taking care of the marketing, and I'm not doing a good job with my outline.
I'm busy, man.
You're busy working.
You gotta work and take
All
care of your
I
kids.
do is take care of the kids. Okay, the next story, which I actually did do the outline. Okay, it was Cleveland Scene magazine had the top five Project Censored stories of 2017, right? And what it was is that this group called Project Censored came out with 5 stories that are underreported in 2017,
Yeah.
right? Well, I've read Project Censored before, and it's not underreported stuff. It's all stuff usually I hear of, but it's underreported by the left, okay? It's a very political thing. So my question to you guys is, do you think these stories are underreported? Okay, and see if you agree with me or not. The first story was widespread lead contamination threatens children's health. Now, I do think that was underreported, okay? Would you,
Yeah.
you haven't heard too much about
No, I
that?
haven't.
Have you heard too much about that? So they're right about story number 1.
Well, just the water in Michigan.
Well, so you know a little bit, but not that much. It's underreported. So I agree with their premise there. Story 2, $6 trillion in unaccountable army spending. I heard a little bit about that. I would agree. That was underreported. Would you agree?
Yeah, $6 trillion?
$6 trillion.
Over how long? I mean, that can't be. That has to be more than 1
Oh,
year.
they said it was underreported because people haven't been digging out and seeing why. Okay? Pentagon paid PR firm in the United Kingdom for fake Al-Qaeda stories. Apparently in Great Britain, we affected the Great British populace against the Muslim population by producing fake Al-Qaeda videos.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And I'm like, that's propaganda. The Nazis did in World War II. Americans did in World War II. I remember Bugs Bunny cartoons poking, Hitler in the eye and stuff. I don't think that's underreported. I don't agree with that one. Now, stories 4 and 5. Again, this is a left-wing site. Voter suppression. Hillary Clinton might have won if more people would have gotten out and voted for Hillary Clinton.
It's not underreported.
No, that's not under. If anything, I think that's overreported. Do you think there was voter suppression in Hillary Clinton's favor in 2016? No, I don't think so either. She lost because of the Electoral College. And if you know about America, you know about the Electoral College. And when they say voter suppression, they say, let me see your ID. And you're like, I don't have an ID. And they're like, okay, you have to leave. And it's like, how is that voter suppression? How is that intimidation? What's wrong with turning in an ID? So that is not underreported. That is propaganda. And then again, number 5, big data and dark money behind the 2016 election. All this mysterious money flooded into the Trump campaign.
I didn't hear anything about that.
You never heard about mysterious money from Russia flowing into the Trump campaign?
Oh.
I think that was overreported.
Honestly, I don't have time to watch the news. I don't really have time to do anything nowadays.
The whole point of my story is I don't think that any of those stories were censored. I agree that they should have been talking about the water more, and I agree that they should have been talking about the Army should have accountability. They should be audited. They should, and that's fine. But all this stuff about the 2016 election, I'm sick of hearing about it. If anything, they have beaten that election into the ground. And I'm going to be crystal clear about this. I wrote this on the blog. Let's say that Donald Trump personally took $1 billion from the Russians. I don't believe that for a second, but let's say he did, right? I'm not convinced that Hillary Clinton did not take $1 billion from the Chinese. Everything that Donald Trump did secretly from the Russians is exactly what Hillary Clinton did from the Chinese. You were screwed either way. That's why I voted for Gary Johnson. You're happy with your Trump vote. Are you still happy? Even though this left-wing website says that Trump stole the election, are you still happy with President Trump?
I'm happy with my 401k.
Your 401k is through the roof.
It is booming.
And it's booming, partially because of Donald Trump, partially because of Barack Obama, partially because of Donald Trump. Are you still happy with Donald Trump?
Not really.
Well, so you're not happy with him.
You see his tweet that he tweeted the other day? North Korea said something about having the button on their desk.
Yeah, the bigger button.
And he's like, we have the bigger and better button.
Well, that's funny.
How old are you? How old are you? Like, you're the president of the United States. Why would you even comment on that?
I think it's
Don't
funny.
you have better shit to be doing? Don't you have more important shit to be doing?
I agree, 110%. Right? But he still thinks he's on a reality show. He still thinks he's playing it up. That guy's got a button, I got a bigger button. Okay? I think it's funny. I mean, if he wasn't the president, it would be hysterical.
You think people in the White House would like take his phone or his computer away from him? Like, dude, you're not Twittering or Facebook or anything anymore. You're the president of the United States. You don't have time to Twitter.
Yes.
I love how he said, I'm not going to have time to go out golfing. What is he doing like every other day?
This week, he said he was a stable genius.
Yeah.
Are you happy he said that?
Yeah, I guess so, because my 401k is doing great.
Well, and that's my whole thing, too. I think, again, me and Ted were talking about this beforehand. Pakistan. When he was campaigning, he said, I am going to take away foreign aid to Pakistan. And in September, Beacon of Speech wrote, all he has to do is say, I'm going to take away your foreign aid, Pakistan will get in line. Last week, Donald Trump said, I'm going to take away foreign aid to Pakistan. Okay? I don't agree with a lot of things that Donald Trump says, but he ran on the platform, I'm going to take away their aid, and then a year later he says, I'm taking away your aid. Right? He actually did what he campaigned on. That, to me, is respectable because you got what you voted for. If you wanted to vote for Donald... No, not on that one thing. But he has done a lot of things. Let me give you another example. We'll take away Pakistan because neither one of you give a crap about Pakistan. Okay?
Oh, I care about Pakistan.
You don't even know.
Can I get that foreign aid? I need some aid.
Yeah, do not give the foreign aid to Pakistan. Give it to Joe. Joe wants the foreign aid.
Give it to my kids.
Donald Trump ran on the thing, we need to move the capital of Israel from Tel Aviv to East Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And when he became president, he said, well, I'm going to do it. Everybody's like, you can't do it. He's like, well, I said I was going to do it on that campaign. I'm going to do it.
And he did it.
And he did it. I don't agree. I probably would not have moved it to East Jerusalem. But I don't care one way or the other. Okay? He opened up a hornet's nest where he didn't need to. Okay? Yeah. But I respect that he said, I am going to do it. And then he did it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I respect Trump in some ways. And then, like, when he says, I'm a stable genius, I'm like, I think it's funny.
I mean, he must be. Look, he's like a trillionaire.
Yeah. What? Don't get us started about that because you're going to set Ted off. Because people who are rich, a lot of them think they're the smartest guys in the room.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're the luckiest guys in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get the impression that Trump is rich because he's the smartest guy in the room?
Oh, I think because of his dad.
When Donald Trump turned 21 years old, his dad gave him $1 million and said, turn this into money. And then he got into real estate. Now, you have to be smart to turn $1 million into what? How much is he worth?
What, they say 10 billion or
Yeah,
something like
10
that?
billion. You got to be smart to turn $1 million into $1 billion. Okay? You just do. Okay? But do you remember when you were 21 years old and your dad said, Joe Kaufman, here's $1 million?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. I went right to Vegas.
And you burned right through it in 1 year. It was gone.
1 year. Like 2 months.
A lot of people in the United States are smart because they turned $1 million into 10 million or 10 million into 100 million.
So nice. Get $1 million.
How many people do you know who were like, who's the guy from Apple? Steve Jobs. His parents weren't well off, and they started Apple in his garage, literally in the garage. And he built $1 billion empire literally
Kind
from
of like
dirt.
we're doing right here.
I think we're getting a late start on it. I think we're in a lot of trouble. And the whole line about I love the Mexican cartel, that's going to come back to haunt us.
You,
not me.
I said nothing.
That's going
I
to come
said
back.
nothing.
That's going to come back, and that's going to endear me to the wrong people.
Now we're a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're picking and choosing what we're saying and what we're not saying. So, but Donald Trump, again, I'm not saying, I told people not to vote for. How many times did I say, please don't vote for Donald Trump on Beacon of Speech? 50, 100? But he has been coming through with what he said, and I respect that he backed up what he said. I would disagree, and in some cases...
Well, the thing is, you don't like him personally, but...
Oh, I don't like him personally.
Okay, but put that aside. What has he done that you do not agree with?
I
mean, I'm sure there's a few things, because you're not going to agree with somebody on everything.
Donald Trump, I'll give you an example. Donald Trump came out last week, and he said, air safety, there were no commercial...
Oh.
Yeah,
Because of me?
There were no commercial accidents last year because of me. Right?
Because he had everything.
Well, do you know when was the last time there was a commercial accident in the United States of America?
That was a long time ago, wasn't
2009. Obama didn't have it for 8 years in a row. So he can't say, Obama did a great job, and then we continued it. He's like, oh no, I made sure there were no crashes in the sky. He's like a megalomaniac. And so he can campaign on things and take credit for things, but let's say the 401k next year takes a dive, okay? You are not going to like Donald Trump anymore.
Probably not.
And some of the stuff, Donald Trump is a business-first president, okay? You cannot run a country like a business. Now, in some ways, you can, but at the end of the day, you still have to have poor people. You know, and Donald Trump's like, well, if they just worked harder, they'd be rich. How many people do you know who think like Donald Trump? If you just worked harder, you'd be rich.
Oh, a couple people.
Yeah, you especially know people like that. Well, if you just work hard, you just make $1 million in America. That's how it works.
You just work hard, it'll just come to you.
Yeah, it magically lands in your lap. And don't get me wrong, some people like Steve Jobs worked his ass off, right? But a lot of people like Donald Trump had $1 million head start.
Mm-hmm.
And if you said Donald Trump, 21-year-old Donald Trump, you start with nothing, I guarantee you he would not be a billionaire today.
No.
He is not scraping together $10,000 and making one land deal, turning $10,000 into $20,000.
You'd be Joe Schmo, realtor, owning the slum. You'd be a slumlord.
Right. He would be a slumlord. And he would be like, I'm pinching every penny I can. And he wouldn't have a hot wife from the Eastern Bloc. He'd be on his fifth wife, fifth crack whore, who's skinny because she's doing too much meth. I'm sorry.
What's wrong with
we
that?
might get in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I insult the president. I'm trying to get on the good side of the cartels. I'm insulting the president. I'm in America. I gotta remember where I live. I should watch out.
Those guys with sunglasses at my door.
Yeah, we would like to examine the tapes of Beacon of Speech. But no, and that's how I think. I could be wrong. Maybe Trump is the smartest guy in the room. Maybe he is. I just don't think so. I just say that whether he's right or wrong, he says something and then he does it. And I admire that. And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But his whole philosophy is business first. You can't run a country like that. And especially if you run the country like, it's your own personal piggy bank. Like, I read something where he has already spent more on Secret Service in the first 8 months than Obama did in 8 years.
Well, he said he was over his budget already.
He's already over his budget because he's always going down to Florida. Well, just stay in the White House. Oh, the White House is a crap hole. Right?
Yeah.
Well, too bad. You're the president. You got to stay at the
how
White
do you
House.
blow through your budget already for that?
Yeah. This is your budget.
I mean, where the fuck has he been going?
Or he keeps going down to Florida to go golfing.
Why don't you just build another White House down there? The White House, too.
But that's what I'm saying. When you say, what do you disagree with? I disagree with the...
Mar-a-Lago. What the hell is that place called? They wouldn't let none of us in there. Bet you we come rolling up to the front gates, they'd throw us right in the paddy wagon. Throw us in the damn ravine with all the crocodiles.
Now you're making me nervous. We're gonna skip to the next topic. You ready for the next topic?
Yeah. Shoot.
Okay. Now you guys are really gonna be happy with this. Ted's gonna be really pissed. Okay. USA Today. The story was in their money section. What are the top 25 dying industries in America? Now we are gonna skip all the way from 25 to number 2 because you don't care about any of those industries.
I do.
Well, I only wrote down 2.
Can I answer?
Yes, you can.
Cable TV.
Cable TV was like number 5.
Oh.
I remember that because I remember seeing it. Number 2
Taxis.
is library and archive services.
Really?
They said that libraries are not places, even though there's libraries all across the United States, that nobody is reading books anymore, and they're using libraries as community centers, right? And they said archive services, everybody who throws away a book can read the book online. And they said archive services is down 90% in the last 20 years, which is just taking paper and putting it in warehouses. Okay? Now, do you believe that?
No.
Now, I believe the library part because...
Do you? Because every time I drive past my library, the parking lot's full.
Oh, no, but that's where I'm going.
Not
my
full,
son,
but there's like 20, maybe more cars in the parking lot.
My son is in 6th grade, and they built a brand new library in this school, right?
Yeah.
And if you look,
that's in the school.
Well, but listen. The whole one side of the library is all just giant steps, like a common area.
Yeah.
And they said, well, that's where you go, and you look on your laptop. It's like, well, where's the books? This is the library. And it's like, it's like an auditorium, and there's a wall that would basically be across Ted's house, and there's maybe 150 books. And they're like, well, everything's online. Why do you need a library for?
Yeah.
So you got a new library with 150 books? Well, yeah, but you can sit there with your laptop. You don't need a library, right? And so when they say library, they're talking about the space. And like you said, the library's full because all the ladies are on Writers Club or Cub Scout 102, or now it's a meeting place. All it is, a library is a community center now. And everybody who used to store 1 million gigabytes of RAM or whatever it is, now they're putting 1 million gigabytes of RAM into the cloud.
Yeah. So libraries just need to go digital then.
Well, but that's
you
what they
go
said.
there and you just get the book through your laptop.
Well, and that's where they're going.
Well, then what happens? How long do you get to keep it for, though? You know what I'm saying? Because sooner or later you have to return a library book, right?
Yeah. But that...
You say you don't want to buy a book, you just want to rent it from the library.
They said
so
that...
you go there and you could download it or whatever and rent for like 3 days and then it...
Well, do you want to write to the USA Today and argue with them?
Yeah.
Joe does not agree with the USA Today. What do you think is Ted Coley, what do you think is the number 1 dying industry? Only more than library and archive services. I I'll give you a hint. They used to be in every town in America.
McDonald's.
On Friday night, you would go there for your entertainment dollar every Friday night.
Friday
Movie
night.
movie theaters.
Movie rental,
Oh.
Blockbuster, and Hollywood Video. They said that Blockbuster
Yeah, there's none of them around anymore. There's Family Video.
there's Family Video, but all the Blockbusters are closed. Hollywood Video is closed. Almost everything is closed. And they said there's like 6 in Alaska because people in Alaska are looking for stuff to do.
Well, when you have like nothing up there,
Yeah.
probably can't even get internet because.
Well, yeah, because they don't have streaming services out in the country.
They probably have libraries.
So the number one dying industry is video, right? And they said there's like 6 Blockbusters in Alaska. Blockbuster, the corporation, doesn't exist anymore, but there's like 6
They're like owned by.
franchisees.
Yeah. I wonder if they still have to pay that franchise fee. You think like, screw you, Blockbuster, I'm not giving you shit.
Yeah. Well, they said that they have a following on Facebook because people love Blockbuster, and they said they sell merchandise all across the United States because people, it's like kitsch.
So are they still open then? Like
They're still
Blockbuster's
open.
still a company?
Yeah.
Wow.
But again, it's only franchisees in Alaska. Hollywood Video's gone. Almost everything's gone.
We should bring back a video store.
Well, there is still Family Video around.
Yeah, I don't know how that's around either. Couldn't tell you last time I was at Family Video.
Well, that's the thing. They're still around,
4
and
years ago.
But the thing is, they're always hiring, and I'm like, I don't think
Yeah,
they're
you already
paying.
see they're hiring a new manager.
Yeah, I think they might make the managers work like 60 or 70 hours a week and pay them like $10 an hour.
Kind of like every other place.
Yeah. Well, we want you to work a ton, but at least you have a job. Well, then
Yeah.
you have no life, right? Ted's laughing at me. Thanks, Ted. I appreciate it. Okay. Do you play any video games at all anymore?
I try. It's hard.
I play almost no video games. I was playing Uno with my kid today, right?
What's
But
that?
other than that, we don't play that many video games.
Yeah.
But that goes back to
Your kid
Blockbuster.
doesn't play any video games?
Oh, my kid does, but I don't. Your
Oh.
kid plays video games.
Oh my god, she's addicted already. She's already 6.
Yeah.
I
My
just
kid
bought
plays
her
video games.
Minecraft. I don't even know how Minecraft is. She's like, "Can you give me Minecraft?" My mistake was hooking my old PS3 to her TV.
Yeah.
So it's like she's in her room like all day, so I have to go in there and like pull the cord. Like today, she's there for an hour. I went in there, I pulled the cord. I said, "Come on, we're going out. You're not staying in your room all day playing video games."
Well, here's my game story of the day, and then you can tell me what's wrong with this story, okay? I gotta flip it over so I don't give away the punchline cheaters. Okay. My brother-in-law, okay? He plays Call of Duty or whatever shoot-'em-up game where you can go on the TV and you're playing against somebody else in another
Yeah, I do
state.
that.
You're familiar with that. You know you can do that. Even if you don't play. you
Yeah,
don't.
I don't do that,
Okay.
but I.
So there's 2 kids, and they're playing Call of Duty, and this is around Christmas, okay? And it might, if I got the wrong game, I'm sorry. If it was Resident Evil 6 or whatever. The point is, it's a violent video game, right? One of them was in Wichita, Kansas. One of them was in California. You might have heard about this.
I heard about this story
Yeah.
where he called the SWAT team out.
Yeah, so don't give away the thing for Ted. We'll do the thing, okay? So we'll do the punchline to Ted since you know the story. So the guy in Wichita, Kansas is pissed at the guy in California. And all they're doing is playing video games. Hand me that headset, Ted. Hand me the headset. Okay? So they're doing the thing, and they're talking garbage. I should have killed you. Yeah, I should have killed you. I'm going to kill you in real life. I dare you to kill me in real life. Right? And they're going back and forth, with the gaming console. You don't have to plug it in. So they're going back and forth. I got to make it look official. I'm going to kill you in real life. I'm going to drive out to California and kill you. Right? And so you can interrupt if you know. But the guy in California was so pissed off at the guy in Wichita.
What he said, he's like, "I'm gonna swat you," and I guess the other guy knew what that meant too.
Yeah, I'm gonna swat you.
What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
So I guess, and the dude knew what it meant too. He's like, "Go ahead, my address is this, and this."
Now, wait a second. Before you do the punchline, tell Ted what swatting is, because I didn't know this was a
Swatting
thing.
is, I guess, when you call the police and saying, "Hey, I'm at so-and-so house, and I just killed everyone. I got a gun, and I'm gonna kill everybody." So what they do is they send this. What does the police do? Well, they send the SWAT team. What's the SWAT team gonna do? They're just gonna kick in your door and start shooting because they,
Right. So the kid in California said, I'm going to do this to you. And the kid in Wichita says, I don't effing care. I know you won't do it. You're a big chicken crap, right? And he goes, here's my address. 123 Main Street in Wichita, and I dare you to do it, right? So, right?
Yeah.
So the kid in California calls up, hostage situation, 123 Main Street in Wichita.
I just killed everybody.
I just killed everybody.
Killed my mom, killed my dad, whatever.
Right. So the SWAT team swarms 123 Main Street in Wichita, right? Do you know the punchline?
No, I don't know the punchline.
Okay,
I
so
understand what's going on.
So, guy opens the door. Police, bang, bang, bang. What? What? And this is at 123 Main Street. What? What do you want? Right?
I was like in the middle of the night, too, wasn't it?
Yeah, middle of the night. What's the problem? Right? SWAT team, bang, kills the guy who answers the door. Right?
Basically barged their way in and just shot him.
Yep, barged.
It looked like he was waiting for his wristband. You know what the effed up part of it is?
No, go ahead.
Is the guy gave him the address like two doors down. So it was his neighbor. So he's outside watching all this happen.
Yeah. So he's watching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the guy in Wichita, the gamer, is watching all this happen.
Yeah, he didn't give the correct
Yeah,
address.
he gave him like 2 doors down.
So he's watching as here comes the SWAT team. He's like, they're gonna kill Joe Smith.
He might not even thought of that. He's like, just didn't say, let's see if he even does it.
Yeah.
And he didn't think he probably would have did it.
Right.
Wow.
So the SWAT team busts in, kills the guy at 123 Main Street, and they're like, where's the hostages? And they're like, well, what are you talking about? Right? So they trace back the call. They trace it back all the way to the guy in California. And he goes, yeah, I did it. He dared me to do it. He goes, I didn't pull the trigger. You talked to the dumbasses in Wichita, Kansas, who don't follow leads, went in with guns ablazing. And they said, well, you called in a fake number. He goes, you can go ahead and call me. And the kid's belligerent. Again, they're gamers who are like 20 years old. He's belligerent. He goes, I didn't shoot anybody. He goes, I'm going to get the best lawyer around. He goes, and I'm going to sue you for harassment, for harassing me. That cop killed that person in cold blood. Go prosecute the cop.
Yeah.
Now that it's laid out for Joe Kaufman, what do you do?
Beat the living shit out of that kid in California. String up and beat him. I would definitely, if that was my family, I'd want him prosecuted to the fullest.
Well, but that's
I would grab my guns, go fucking shoot up his house.
But that's the whole thing. By the law.
Yeah, but he made a false police report.
But let's say,
and he basically he caused somebody's death.
And you
because
are
of that. I mean, what do you think the police are going to do? Hey, I just killed my whole entire family. Where they'd be like, oh, excuse me, what? Did you just kill your family? By the way, we don't have any guns. Do you have any guns? What the fuck? What do you want them to do?
Well,
I mean, what do you want them to do? Not take it seriously?
But you are 100%.
That's why they got to prosecute that dude to the fullest. Give him 100. Give him a life.
But that's the whole thing. The law's on the books, and I'm going to be very clear. Say you have filing a false police report, right? The maximum for filing a false police report is like 6 months and like $10,000.
Yeah.
That doesn't bring that guy down the street back to life.
Yeah, but the family's gonna, the family's gonna end up gonna suing his family or suing him for
Well,
wrongful death and
now
all this
that
other crap.
Now that makes sense. But does the police have any culpability in this?
No. No, because seriously, what do you want them to do? Say if that really happened.
No.
Do you just want them to be like I just said, excuse me, and then the guy just shoots that cop in his face? I mean,
Right, but-
I'm sorry, if I was a cop and said, hey, someone just called up and said he killed his whole entire family, I'm coming with my gun out. I'm sorry, I don't care. I'm kicking that door, and if you even have your hand in your waistband or anything, I'm shooting you.
Fred Hunt personally agrees. If I was a cop and I get that,
That's why I can't be a cop.
And that's why I can't be a cop. But
Because I want to go home at the end of the night.
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be shot dead.
But that's the whole thing. How many times you read stories about cops get faulty information or they got the wrong address? It's 123 Main Street instead of 123 Main Avenue.
Why'd they go in like guns a-blazing?
Well, but that's
usually
the
out of
whole point.
standoff, don't they? They're outside like trying to
They're out.
hey, can you show your hands?
There was a standoff in my hometown in Brunswick when I was a teenager. And the dad called and they said, I have the family. They barricaded the house. It lasted for like 2 days.
Yeah.
And they said, we want to do this peacefully. We want to do this, we want to make sure the kids live. We want to make sure that we don't kill the dad. So when they went in guns blazing in Wichita, I'm like, what the hell's going on in Wichita?
So what did they do by you? Did they go on guns
They
blazing?
negotiated for like two days. And then when they sent out the family, because they're like, well, the family's scared. They sent out the family. Like, as soon as the family came out, they like blitzed in, and the guy's like, laying on the ground, like waiting. He wasn't even standing.
Yeah.
Now, I could be a little off but I remember that they went in, and he was laying. He wasn't meeting them at the door like, hey, I'll catch you at the door.
Yeah.
And that's why I couldn't believe that it was so fast.
Well, that happened in my city, and the guy ended up killing everybody in the house.
Well, and that's why I wanted to ask you.
The kids.
What happened there?
He ended up killing the one dude, then he ended up killing himself.
But how fast was it?
I don't think they even knew that he was dead already.
Because then it happened like right away, and then they sent. I don't remember.
They
the one
blew out
in
the
your
windows.
city.
You walk past. I mean, all the window, everything was the doors were blown off. The window was blown off.
Didn't they try and send in the robot, but then it like fell on the steps?
I think so. Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, the guy."
And then I think they threw those concussion grenades in because everything was blown out. Like literally, the windows were blown out, the doors were blown out.
But that's the whole point.
But he was already dead. How long has he been sitting there dead already?
It was hours.
Because he shot that dude, then he shot himself.
And that was
the kids were hiding in the room or something.
And that was my question. They throw in the concussion grenades. They sent up the robot. The robot fell on the steps, if I remember correctly. And they waited for hours. Mm-hmm. And like you said, bang, bang, shot, it's over. That's why in Wichita, I'm like, why in the hell was the first thing you do shooting?
Yeah.
Why were you shooting first?
Blazing through the door with the guns out.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, you can prosecute that kid in California, and you can sue him. Let me ask you a question.
Don't they see the numbers not the same, though? Like, isn't the
area
code shouldn't match up,
That's
right?
another tip-off. I'm like, if he called from California and he doesn't have a Wichita, that should be another tip-off.
Yeah.
Because there's so many holes in the story, and all you're hearing is, well, they arrested the kid in California.
Or if what do you do, star 67 or whatever to block the number? But does that even work?
Yeah. Well, and that's
or do they have apps where you can block your number and set unknown caller? But, you think you're 911, you think you'd have the capability to see what actual number, even though they go through like an app that will block your number. You think you can still get your number. And
don't forget the guy who died, he's got to be pissed at the guy down the street. The rest of the family's got to be pissed at the gamer down the street. He's
going to get sued. They're doing
everybody's getting sued. And the cops are going to get sued. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah. They'll be the first ones.
But I don't think you can prosecute the cop because I think he went in there thinking, like you said, that there's a thing.
Yeah, but, that kid should be prosecuted because that's just not right. That's just not right.
Right.
Like, that's effed up, man.
Yeah.
Like, you're looking to, cause harm on somebody.
Yeah. But, and we'll go back to Donald Trump for a second. I know Ted thinks that. Donald Trump started life 21 years old. Dad gave him $1 million, right? These kids were not 13 years old, okay? They were like 20 and 25. And they're playing Call of Duty, and they probably don't have jobs, or they're working at McDonald's overnight, right? And they're like, screw you, what are you going to do to me, right? They were probably taunting each other in the moment and egging each other on. And it's like, you can sue them for $1 million, but if they're playing Call of Duty 18 hours a day, and they're 25 years old, and they're working at McDonald's, how much can you sue them for?
Yeah, what are they going to have?
It's not like they're working their way through Harvard in Wichita, Kansas.
I mean, at least you can get a PlayStation 4 and Call of Duty, right?
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to buy you a PlayStation.
Well, you can just sue them for that. At least you can get that.
But that's the whole thing. It's tragedy all around, but then where can you hold the accountability for any of them? Yeah. And the poor cop wants to go home. I don't disagree with that. But when they arrested the kid in California, he's still belligerent. He's like, he's coughed and he's like, oh, don't blame me. I ain't shoot anybody. So sue the guy in Wichita.
What an arrogant little prick.
Yeah. Well, and that's the whole thing because you're dealing with...
Because you're mad because some dude killed you in Call of Duty 5 times.
Well, and that's the whole thing. It's like... you're not in the real
He's
world.
in California. Why don't you just smoke a joint or whatever? That's legal there now, right? And calm the F down.
Yeah, I don't think in Kansas or was it Wichita, Kansas, or Wichita? Isn't there 2 Wichitas?
I don't know. I think so. Is there?
All the Call of Duty players are going to be pissed off that we're talking bad about Call of Duty. We're pissing them off.
I mean, what life do you have when you like? I got that game. I play.
Yeah.
I probably haven't played in a month because I'm so busy. There's people that like when it first came out, I bought it. There's people that you can level up, and there's like I don't know 50 different levels you can level up to, and it takes forever to level up.
Yeah.
It's like literally the first day, and you see somebody like level 40.
Yeah.
And I'm like level 1 for like weeks. I'm like, how the hell do you get? I mean, what do you do? Nothing all day, but sit in your basement and like play video games like 24/7. I'm like, what kind of loser? What? You have no life. Like no life. Literally, you do nothing. Like,
and I remember playing a lot of video games when I worked at Taco Bell. But that's because I was working 50. When I was a manager at Taco Bell, I was working 50, 60 hours a week and playing video games when I could.
yeah.
I didn't have time to do that. I was playing like Sonic the Hedgehog.
I mean, we played video games, but it wouldn't take up our whole entire life. We actually went out and did shit. You know?
Yeah.
We went out and we partied. We went to the bars.
Now I drag you to Beacon of Speech.
Yeah, now look at my life.
Yeah. We're going to put worst of 2017 for you. We're going to put Beacon of Speech. I keep calling you and bugging you about it.
So, yeah, I'll be curious to see what happens to that kid, what they do to him. Both of them. Well, no, the Wichita kid didn't have anything.
Well, the kid in Wichita, you still got to feel bad because it's a kid down the street. And they know
but you didn't think
that
the
you
dude was
called in
actually
the
gonna
fake
do it.
address.
No, well, the kid in California called in the fake address, right?
Right, but how did he know? Because the kid in Wichita gave him the fake address.
Do you think the kid in Wichita actually thought the dude was going to do this? Like, who would actually think the guy would do this?
Well, again, it goes back to where's your line? Who's getting prosecuted and who for how much?
I'm sorry.
And again, what can you do besides filing a false?
If that was my
report?
kid, I'd be strangling him with the freaking PlayStation cord. I'd be strangling him. Like, how stupid are you?
Ted Coley, do you want to defend Trump anymore since he said that he is? Do you think that Donald Trump is really? What was the quote again? What was the quote? What was Donald Trump again? The stable genius. Do you have any stable genius quotes for Donald Trump?
Why did he say stable?
I don't know, because I guess that new book is coming out.
Somebody was implying that he's not stable.
Yeah, because
He's
there's
unstable.
Here's another problem, and I hate to double back to this. We won't take long. There's a book coming out about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And part of the reason he said that he's a stable genius is because the book portrays him as unstable.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump came out and said that this guy does not have unfettered access. Basically, writes for Vanity Fair. Okay? And when I looked at the guy's biography who wrote for Vanity Fair, it was about as thick as mine. I'm like, well, didn't he write a lot of books? He wrote like 2. Right? I wrote 1 book. I mean, and he works for Vanity Fair. I'm like, if it was the New York Times or Washington Post or USA Today or somebody, I'm like, Vanity Fair, that's not much better than E! Entertainment, right?
You could have wrote it.
I could have wrote it. And
publicity we get now.
We can.
See, this is what I'm telling you, man. We need a new publicity team, promotion team, something.
I know,
You're dropping the ball, man.
I'm telling you, Joe, it's coming. With next wave, and then the week after, I'm going to say something idiotic, and then we're going to be right back down to tubes.
Yeah.
There was a YouTuber, and he came out, and I can't remember what he did, but there was some sort of suicide somewhere, and he made a joke. And all the snowflakes that follow him, the million snowflakes that follow him, are like, "You're horrible. You should quit YouTube." And he's like, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "God."
Now he's going back on his word.
Yeah, he's like, You need to go out there and double down. You need to be like Dave Chappelle, right? Dave Chappelle has said some real unpopular stuff with his special, and all these. Like I read an article on the Daily Beast. They said Dave Chappelle is kind of getting horrible in his old age. He needs to apologize. They'll be like, "No, hell no." Dave Chappelle comes out there. He goes, "Listen, I'm good." Dave Chappelle's special was very enlightening because he came out and they said, "Why did you go away for 10 years?" Right? Did you see it?
No.
You said you didn't. That's right. I'm sorry. And you did not see it
No.
either. Dave Chappelle cited a book called Pimp, right? By Iceberg Slim.
Yeah.
And he said, listen. He goes,
Iceberg Slim, the most shady.
well, they all said, we're all pimps. All the rappers are like, we love Iceberg Slim, right? Because he was the original pimp from the 50s. He wrote about pimping before it was popular to be talking about pimping, right? Dave Chappelle said
I'll be pimping my hose on Brook Park Road.
Iceberg is, and I could be saying the name wrong because I'm citing it from Dave Chappelle. But Dave Chappelle said, basically, everything in Hollywood is like pimping, right?
Yeah.
And when he quit Chappelle's show, he wanted to do things on his own terms, and he felt like a character in the book Pimp by Iceberg Slim.
Yeah.
And he was getting at, and again, you could ask,
Well,
maybe
he
I
should
misread.
buy his own network, and then he could do whatever he
Well,
wants.
but I think that's where he was going, is whether they give me $10 or $50 million, I want to have my own voice. Which I can relate to that. I want to have my own voice, but nobody's offering me $50 million.
Well,
People could be
we
like,
gotta start changing your standards.
well, that's the whole thing. Maybe. And like, me and Ted were joking around before we started, right, Ted? Once we get money, we'll be like a band. I'll be like, well, there goes Ted, and there goes Joe, and then Fred said he was going to keep me around. I'm suing his ass. He owes me 1/3 of all profits for the next 15 years. Right?
Yeah.
So when it comes down to business and
You're gonna
things
get
get
rid of all of us
nasty,
and keep all the money for yourself.
and I will be okay with that.
And then I'll have to call the Mexican drug cartel. Tell them I
You go back and listen to episode 75. You need to shoot that MF for Fred Hunt. And I said, I told him not to say that crap. Ted's already, like I said, Ted's already worried. And almost every episode I come out, I said, Ted, did you hear about this? And Ted's like, oh my God. And so one day, Ted's going to be like, how about this? How about if I go on the other side of the computer and you stay out there and you just ask me questions? And like I said, this is why I keep this here. Because, again, I'm not saying Dave Chappelle is right or wrong. What I'm saying is, in America, you have to have free speech. And I'm not saying those kids in Wichita and California who played Call of Duty, they crossed the line, okay? But they're an extreme example. Other than that...
So what happened with Dave Chappelle then? What did he say?
No, he just said that...
He said he left because he really didn't have a voice, and...
Now that he's back, he's on Netflix, he gets paid like $10 million for each special.
Yeah.
And they say, you can say whatever you want, and, we're Netflix.
Yeah, because it's Netflix. They give anybody a show.
You can burn this money if you want. We don't care. No strings attached. You do the special, here's $10 million. And one of his specials, he said, you kick... He made a joke, I don't want to get it wrong, but he was talking about Louis C.K. and all the sexual harassment. And he said, well, when Louis C.K. did it, I thought it was funny. And he's talking about kicking women in the pussy, right? And the woman in the Daily Beast is like, that is horrible. That's the most horrible thing. Well, Dave Chappelle has freedom of speech. He's a comedian. He's supposed to make you laugh.
Yeah.
Right? And so he doubled down. He didn't apologize. And on his next special, he's like, let me tell you about the book Pimp by Iceberg Slim or whatever. And he said, everybody is controlled by money.
Yeah.
And so basically he doubled down. He didn't apologize. He said, I'm sorry, please keep listening. He's like, listen, I'm going to keep doing these specials and they can give me $10 or they can give me, $10 million. And I'm just going to keep doing these specials and this is what I think. And if you don't agree, you don't have to listen to my special. You can turn it right off. And Dave Chappelle's philosophy, even if you don't agree with him, is similar to what it should be. There's literally 10 million things in America you can... How many stations are there on Sirius?
Yeah, you just turn it off.
200 stations on Sirius, 100 stations on cable, even over the air antenna, right, Ted? You said you were working on over the air antenna for your mom. How many channels did they get?
About 35.
Yeah, 35 stations that you can choose from for free without just yanking stuff out of the air.
Yeah.
When we were kids, what'd you get?
Oh, God, maybe, 5 or 6?
3, 5, 8, 19, 43.
55.
55, right? Now you literally have 1 million, and somehow
People are too sensitive nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that. Now I got to make a big ordeal about it.
And-
Instead of just like letting it
But
go.
in
Whatever.
order for the corporate dollars to keep moving to Ted or Fred or Joe, you have to go out and apologize, even if you don't mean it.
Yeah, but nowadays you don't have to because you have so many different platforms you could choose to go to.
Right, but if you want to stay popular, now, like Dave Chappelle...
I mean, look at Howard Stern. They try to close him down how many times, and he's still... Oh, did I strike a nerve?
Yes.
Why, you don't like Howard Stern?
We used to love Howard Stern. All of us. You used to love him. I used to love
I
him.
still
You
like him.
used to
I got
love
him back in my car. He's hilarious.
How many days a year does Howard Stern work?
Who cares? Right? He makes me laugh. I was listening over here laughing my ass off. I thought it was funny.
You are laughing your ass off.
Yeah.
Is he still on America's Got Talent?
I don't think so.
No.
I think he's done with that.
No, because he's back to focusing on his show all the time. You were singing a different tune when he was on that other show, taking 2 months off a year.
Oh, for Americans Got Talent. But he still was on only 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Which is whatever. I mean, it's up to him. It's his choice.
And I don't disagree. I'm just saying that you get the new Howard Stern. I don't think you're getting the old Howard Stern, who's devil may care attitude. We're gonna see what we're gonna say today.
Yeah, it's still funny. I like it.
Are you paying for it?
No, of course not.
And that's my point. You stop.
And you know what's funny though is I actually was telling Jen or telling somebody at work that we should get it inside the building so
Right.
I have something to listen to instead of the same crappy radio station every
Right.
day. And they said, yeah, go for it. So I'm actually probably going to buy it and hook it into the building.
Well, but
So I can
you're
listen
gonna
to it.
buy it.
Well, yeah. Maybe I'll see if they can pay me back. But I doubt it. But yeah, it's something to listen to. It's a lot better than regular radio. Wouldn't I listen to 850 and listen to them talk about the Browns all day long?
Oh my God! They just
I mean,
beat
how
that Mexican.
are they still in business? Like, how is like the sports channel still around?
I don't know.
I don't understand. I mean, there's only so much football you could talk.
You're right. I'm just saying that I quit paying for Howard. You quit paying for Howard. Ted quit paying for Howard.
I never paid.
Well, we paid by listening to it when it was on NCX or whatever. We frequented their advertisements.
Did you listen to him when he was on regular radio?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I
had
listen to him every
He's like
day.
10 times better now.
It's better now.
I think it has.
Really?
When they swear more. But you're still not paying for it.
No, I'm still not paying. But I might get it and put it inside work, though. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
You should talk to the bosses above and see if we can get all of our vehicles, too. It keeps us entertained and awake.
Can you imagine the odds of that?
Oh, my gosh.
So what do you have it in your car and it came with the...
Yeah. Yeah. I got it for like 2 years or something. So, yeah, sorry, Fred. I didn't.
No, that's
I did not
okay.
pay for it.
No, because you had told me that you weren't going to pay for it anymore, and you were angry.
Yeah.
And then you have it because it's free. The point is you don't go out and pay for it.
No. And then I just see how much like regular radio sucks now since I've been listening to that. Though.
Yeah.
So I'm not disagreeing. What I'm saying is he made his money.
Yeah.
So Howard Stern is still getting paid. You
A
see what
lot.
I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
He's still... I don't see Howard Stern taking 10 years off because he wasn't comfortable
Mhm.
with you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Howard Stern...
Well, that's why he left regular radio and went to satellite.
Right.
Because he was sick of it.
Yeah.
Now he can say whatever he wants to say.
He can say whatever he wants to say, but he did not take a pay cut to leave.
No, because he was that good. Somebody paid him that much. So yeah, come over here. We'll pay you $100 million a year.
Right.
Right? Dave Chappelle didn't have that. He said, "Well, you don't like it. Too bad. There's the door." That's what Comedy Central said, right?
I'm not
So
arguing
you don't
that.
like that. There's the door.
I'm
So
just
he said,
saying...
"Fine, I'm out of here."
What I am saying, I want to be crystal
You're
clear,
just jealous.
is that I am jealous because Howard Stern
Who's
says
not? I
whatever
want
he
Howard
wants to
Stern
say.
money.
And he says whatever he wants to say. But I don't believe that for a second. I still think he says to a certain audience.
Yeah.
So, are you done? You're yawning.
I've been yawning, dude. I got 3 kids. I'm always tired.
Ted, do you want to add anything before we tie it up?
No.
This is Beacon of Speech number 75. Can you believe it?
75. Special edition.
I already
I'm
have
here.
the outline for 76. We're going to be talking about classic rock. I saved that for next week because
Ooh.
I knew you weren't keen on
Who
classic
knows?
rock.
Maybe I'll be here. Are you trying to kick me off already?
If you want to come next week, you're more than welcome. We're going to be talking about the Foo Fighters in Chicago.
What happened to him in Chicago?
No, the two, not in Chicago. The band Chicago and the band Foo Fighters.
They're playing in Chicago, Foo Fighters?
Do you want to do a song of the day, Joe Kaufman?
No.
Ted Coley, do you want to do song of the day?
No.
You know, I can't even think of a song.
You
Is that bad? Like
you
my
guys
mind
don't
is
listen to any music.
My mind is so no, I can't think of anything right now.
You can't think of any
I'm
song.
trying to think of a song. Song that I like?
Any song that you listen to. Any song that Joe Kaufman is willing to talk about.
I don't know. I can't think of one. My head hurts too bad. Go ahead.
You don't want to sing any song?
Do I want to sing a song? No. What is this?
No, do you want to
karaoke
sing a
hour?
song? Okay, I'm going to pick a song, okay? I'm going to pick First of the Month by Bones, Thugs, and Harmony.
Why does it have to be rap?
Because